one thing that stood out to me was the fact that we did it all on tape, and that was not something that I'd really done to that scale before. And that was good because you had the discipline of having to commit to a certain amount of tracks, and then you've worked on tape before, so you knew the pitfalls and things, but to us there was like a romantic element, I think.
Yeah, I was the oldest git in the room, so I was the only one who actually made lots of records on tape. So I knew people who'd made modern records, there were certain things we weren't going to be able to do, which I had to flag up front, i.e. there's not an unlimited number of tracks to do tracks and tracks of backing vocals. You can do it, but you got to stop and bounce them and then do more, etc., etc. So it's a bit more time consuming that way, and it's, you do run out of tracks. So if Sam wants to do, can I do another take a vocal? Sometimes like, yeah, you can, but you got to wait. I need to bounce some things, etc., etc. And the sonics of it, to me, didn't make that much difference because Pro Tools at 96K now is so bloody good. But as you just said, the thing that I really enjoyed about doing it on tape, which I hadn't expected, was that it made me be very disciplined because we were recording on 16 tracks. So I had a live band in front of me, including Sam. So I had to get the whole band on 16 tracks. So I had to be very decisive, make decisions, which I really enjoyed, and get the sonics as we went. The drums couldn't be over 14 tracks, etc., etc. Piano couldn't be over 6 tracks. So that was good.
I would say, one of them was the fact that we had the whole of Rack Studios for, I think it was like 6 weeks.
Yeah, something like that.
And that's 4 rooms on the go. And I'd never had a project like that before. And what was cool is that we were utilising each of the rooms for different things.
Yeah. To the point with them in the main room was the band set up with Sam, because we did this record very similar to a lot of the first record, where we cut the whole record live with the band, with Sam singing at the same time. Obviously, we went and did some post elements, added a little bit of programming, did some brass overdub strings, some BVs, etc. And we did sometimes chop between takes, not on tape, which I have done, but we didn't do it. We loaded it into Pro Tools. It's just obviously a lot easier now.
I'd say one other thing to that is the fact that there was no tuning on the whole record as well.
Well, I was going to say, because the question was, what was your memory of this? My memory is, because I don't know, it was like 3 years between the first and second album, just stepping into a room with Sam again, and when they start singing, you're like, fuck. You just forget how good of a singer Sam is.
Yeah.
And it's effortless. In the end, we ended up tuning not one single note. I think we tuned one note, and then as I was mixing it, I think I called Sam and said, can I take the tuning off this one note? Because if I do, there isn't one note of your vocal that's been tuned. So we did. And I won't tell you what song that was.
I'd say probably Say It First, just because it was quite different from the other songs, and the production was quite cool, but it also felt like it fitted with the rest.
That was one that we didn't do live with a band, because the demo of that, there was a lot of really good stuff on it. We redid some of it, and Earl added some drums, the drums that were there, and Sam did re-sing it, and I think the vocal on that one is pretty astounding.
And the other one for me would be One Day at a Time. I think I'm a bit of a sucker for that sort of classic folk type song, and that falls into there. And Sam's vocal on it sounds amazing.
Yeah, both of those I like. I really like Too Good at Goodbyes, just because it was just so instant, and I still remember the day in Air Studios when we did BVs on it. We had like a 16-piece gospel choir, and then there's a video of them all in the control room singing at the top of their lungs as we're blasting it on the big speakers after they'd done all their vocals. I think at that point, that was when it kind of became obvious that was going to be the first single. It was great because the first record we did very quickly, and the first record was a bit more scattergun, and there was some songs that were programmed that I just mixed, and there was a couple of songs that other people did in productions and mixed, so it was a bit more of a hodgepodge. Probably the majority of it was still we did in the 2-week period at Rack Live, how we did the second record, but the second record we did more or less the whole record in one building in that place, so it was a bit more of a cohesive record. But yeah, it's always nice to work on a record that does really well and then come back and do it again.
For me, it was nice to be credited as an engineer on a record that was #1 in the UK and US simultaneously, and that was something quite special to me.